Namaste everyone and welcome back to the Spake Satguru Sivananda. Today's quote, we are repeating the same quote because last episode we have focused more on Kumbhabhishekam and why Kumbhabhishekam is performed and about Adyadi Mahalakshmi in Bhimanipatnam. So today we are repeating the same quote. If the conscious trunks inwards, the activities flow through the mind and body without affecting the inner fellow. This is how the will of God is understood. Over to you, Nana.
Yeah. Namaste. We have a wonderful quote. This last week also we have looked into the quote, but we have seen the periphery of it. And we were discussing about how the Brahmanda came into existence and what was the Mula Karana of it. And who is the Mula Shakti of it. And how the Brahmanda is constructed. It is only construction. So with the Sankalpa. So when the Brahmanda has come into being, and many beings have entered into it. So that is what we say, that the jivas or species or whatever it may be, they have entered into Brahmanda. For what purpose? So we have also discussed to some extent about the purpose of a jiva entering into Brahmanda and going through the entire process. And this process, that it is a jagat, what we call it is a jagat. Jagat means it's moving. So it would not only move by itself, it would also make us all moving. We are going somewhere, I don't know. And when you think that there is something that we have to reach, and there is something that we have to achieve, and there is something that we have to know about ourselves, so that is the Shubhecha. This we have dealt with to some extent. So here in this quote, a lot of technological aspects are with regard to the moving of the jivas from one plane to the other plane, from one idea to the other idea, from one sankalpa to other sankalpa, and having a sankalpa, building up a sankalpa, and how to get the sankalpa realized. So this is the whole process. Suppose the jiva is a raw material. Jiva is a raw material. This jiva, after going through the samsara, this is called samsara. So after going through the samsara, he has to become something. So what is the end product? How you are polished, how you are reformed, how you are made yourself. So that end product, how it would be, is always a great point for imagination. We do not know, but we only say that there is something beyond our Brahmanda, there is something, some Shakti is beyond there. And then I think we should all try to reach it. Okay, once we reach it, what happens? What would be there? And what is our status there? When we have whatever ultimate point that we think that when we have reached it there, and what are we going to do? And what would be, and how the things go on. Suppose, the point is a jiva or the atma, the soul. Which has taken birth becomes jivatma. Otherwise, it's the soul. So this soul, when it has entered into Brahmanda, acquired a prana and a jiva, and moves through the samsara, what is happening to this soul? There are so many philosophies, no? One philosophy says that earlier you are pure as the soul, and you are part of the soul. It's also said. And suppose that pure soul, when it has entered into Brahmanda, what is happening to it? Why it has lost its consciousness of the beginning of the primitive consciousness. So the problem is, the philosophy also says, this Shiva philosophy says that, you have forgotten it when you have entered into this. How we got forgotten, we don't know. Because the Brahmanda is an external world now for us. But for that soul, Brahmanda is an internal thing. Brahmanda is not above them, beyond them, and it's only part of them. That soul which we are talking about. So being the Brahmanda, being the part of that soul, when that soul entered into Brahmanda, it becomes a minutesimal, small thing, small soul. And when it has entered into this, and then the entire Brahmanda covers him. So the covers, main number of covers have formed over the soul. So we have lost our consciousness, the earliest consciousness, with which, the Brahmanda was thought of and then constructed. So that consciousness we have lost, and we have entered into another consciousness, Brahmanda consciousness. And this Brahmanda consciousness is not able to link us with that consciousness, that supreme consciousness. So we are prevented. How are we prevented? With the sphere of this Brahmanda. So this has some gravitation pull. This won't allow you to go out of Brahmanda. So most of our jivas, even though those who are evolved jivas are also there, and they would be living somewhere in Tapoloka or Mahaloka or Janaloka or this loka or that loka. But they can't go by themselves out of this Brahmanda and merge themselves into the Supreme Soul. So this consciousness that we have again started in this life means as jiva. We might have had various lives, but in this jiva, when you have become conscious of your existence, thinking that you are here, I am here, I am in Warangal, I am at some place, I am sitting in my room, I am sitting on my chair. So this consciousness is about your existence in the present Brahmanda at a particular point of place and at a particular point of time. So here you are coordinated with the time and space coordinates. So for a very thing, suppose where is Tokyo? Then you will have go look into the latitude and also longitude, and find out that this is the place Tokyo. Tokyo is located. Where is Sudarshan Rao? You have to locate him in a time and also a place. Suppose if you are looking for Sudarshan Rao in 1900, 1950, or before the 45, there is no Sudarshan Rao. You cannot locate him. Time is also important. You can locate him in a particular time, and you can locate me in a particular place. So this time and place coordinates, they are very necessary for the jiva which entered into here, into Brahmanda. So here, when he becomes conscious of himself, I am Sudarshan Rao, I am in Warangal, I am so and so, I am related to this fellow, I am related to that fellow, like these relationships. So that makes me an entity. But when you have formed an identity for yourself, that is very clear that you are different from that soul which has caused you to come here. So you are different from that soul. So this consciousness is not the real consciousness. This consciousness is different from the supreme consciousness. Then how the supreme consciousness work through you? What we have seen, great people, great souls, great men around us. Many Gurujis are there, accomplished Gurujis are there, and perfect Gurujis are there. They are just like Ishvara, they are not different from Ishvara. Such kind of people also we have heard. We have heard about them, we have seen them, we have talked to them. So that phenomena is also there. So those who could regain that consciousness, that supreme consciousness, but they are running through a particular body. Otherwise, you don't know who is he. So Guruji is there, Guruvar is there. We call him Ishvara, we call him this and that. But he is in a body. Even now the problem is because he has disappeared. Now, how to find out him? But we know, we have seen him. We have talked to him. We lived with him. So we know that he was there. And how is he there? Now, we have no idea. But we have the what we call the faith that he is with us. He is around us. Around us. He is taking care of us. So these things are all virtual. They are not real. Real in the sense they are not in the Brahmanda. So here, Guruji clearly says that this consciousness, that consciousness, supreme consciousness, when it trunks inwards, so this consciousness has to, instead of looking around, looking at the Jagat, it should trunk inside the innermost recess of your heart. So it has to look into you. That's what he says. So that is sadhana, how you have to do this and how you can achieve this. So there are so many ways, so many gurus are there, so many things you have read also. So many things you also like them. One of them, if you have liked one of such paths and processes, you can also have worked for some time on that. So what kind of process you have adapted to trunk inside your consciousness may be different from each person. But the problem here is your worldly consciousness, this is worldly consciousness, should trunk into your inner recess of heart. That should go into. That's why we say you have to withdraw your consciousness which had spread through your five senses. You are hearing music, you are talking to somebody, you are looking at some sight, and you are feeling something through your skin. So these five senses are there. Through five senses, all these five senses would only help aid you to look into the world. So they are not the real things with which you can look into this world. So they always drag you out of your consciousness. Your consciousness is dragged out. So now you have to withdraw them. You have to withdraw them and look into the recess. What kind of recess? How it would be? How you can experience it? Maybe a different thing that you may not be able to know. But once you trunk it, squeeze it into your heart recess, then activities. What with these five senses, you have done so many activities. But when this consciousness is trunked into your recess, then the body makes all activities. Body does all the activities. Those activities are different, which flow after you have withdrawn your consciousness into your heart. Then also the activities go on, but these activities flow through the mind. Flow through the mind. This is the technology. Flow through the mind and body, because mind and body is one complex. They are not two different things. There may be two sides of the same coin. So your body is also known to you only through mind. So this mind, which tells you about the entire world, about all the activities, about your desires and this and that, everything, the entire complex, the worldly complex, is in your mind. So this mind cannot keep quiet, because all these five senses will be working all the time, 24/7, each second of the minute and the year of the hour. So unless you withdraw this worldly consciousness into yourself, the other supreme consciousness which you are thinking of or aiming at, that does not flow into mind. Then it becomes only a medium. Now mind is very active. It is itself karma, karta, kriya, everything. But if you have forgotten this, and if you put it this consciousness, worldly consciousness, merge it into the universal consciousness, that consciousness also uses this mind, because mind and body complex is the physical. So even for the supreme consciousness also, this mind and body is necessary. That is the medium, only through which you are known to others, through which you can reach others, through which others can reach you. So that supreme consciousness, when you have trunked this worldly consciousness into that, so that supreme consciousness also works through mind, and this mind dictates the activities to the body, and those activities of that supreme consciousness would flow through the mind and body complex, and it is going on into the inner field. This inner feeling, inner fellow is acting. It is not the mind body complex which is acting. It is that inner fellow has started acting. Because when you keep this everything silent, when you keep this medium silent, then inner fellow starts acting through. So all the activities now are coming directly from that inner fellow. He has taken the reins of the chariot. So he is now driving the same mind, the same body, but the driver is different. Otherwise, this unit is led by itself with the little consciousness that he has imbibed. So that supreme consciousness also uses this chariot, and that driver takes up all the activities, and this mind is also a spectator. It has become a witness. So it is not involving itself, it is only helping, aiding that flow without harming it, without harping it. That flow comes through this mind and body and interacts with the world. Earlier also we were interacting with the world. That interaction of the world is different from this interaction of the world. So how Guruji thinks about a person, how Guruji speaks about anything to any person, how Guruji understands the entire world and its activities and its persons and everything. So that is totally different from what you and I look at the world. We look at the world in a way reacting to everything. We get a good friend, and then we react with love and affection with him. And there is one whom we don't like, we act differently. But that inner self, when it has taken the charge, when it is controlling the chariot, and its understanding is totally different. That's why when we pray to Guruji, we always pray that I should hear through my eyes, my ears I will see. With my ears, I should hear what you allow me to hear. My eyes should also show me what you want to show me. So all these five senses must be controlled by you. And what you want to see, you see through my eyes. So there is a prayer also, Guru says, you see through my eyes. You hear through my ears. You speak through my tongue. And you feel what you would like to feel through my skin. So all these five senses you control. And you use it. So that your understanding shall be my own. So that's why when you look at a person, your understanding as a man is different. But as Guruji, your understanding is different. So I don't want my own understanding of what the phenomena looks to me. But I want to look into what the phenomena looks to you, how you understand that. So always our prayer must be that let your understanding shall be my own. Only then you will be able to understand the functioning of God the existence of God and the framework of God. All these things you only understand when you could trunk your consciousness, this little consciousness, into your inner self, and so that the inner man can come out through your body and mind. And then he gives his understanding to your understanding. You don't have now a separate understanding. Your understanding is only his own understanding. So he has no feeling of himself. Then, he does not exist. This small he does not exist. Only the capital H, he exists. So he does everything. He understands everything. So we are only part of him. The body and mind is only part of him, part of his phenomena. So that's why the consciousness that we have, worldly consciousness, that what we say, this worldly consciousness should be shrunk down, should be stressed into, so that this can work through the same appliances, But the work of God will be seen through this gentleman. That's why the Guruji is different from you and I. Bodily, he looks this, he has the same body, maybe same body, same physique and so nothing else. But still, what he does, what he looks, what he understands, what he speaks is totally different from what we can think about this. This is a wonderful quotation. And I think, we have to think more about it, because that is the, what you call the stuff for jhana. Dhyana is nothing else, but thinking about what the phenomena is, that is itself dhyana. That dhyana gives you a dhyasa. That dhyasa takes you to Guruji. That's a very short way of explaining the things, that what you have to do and what you are going to be. You are going to be. So that is our goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nana. Beautifully said. May your understanding be my own.
We have the
That's
prayer.
what we have to pray and wish to Guru Garu. Yeah, may his understanding be our own. So we are more well balanced and, stay on the track. Yes. Thank you so much, Nana. Thanks for the session today, and see you all again tomorrow. Namaste.